These rumors were made by radical black racists. Let's just say that. Okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
Right.
Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't Black American.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say their name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean...
The FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is. I'm just keeping it a buck. And their shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity-doop-wop.
When a person shows you who they are, man, believe them. Like Fat Joe, when he went on there and he was talking the way he was talking about foundational Black Americans, the way he was speaking in general is the way that he was raised, his culture about black people in general. Now, I know that he had some black friends and some people in the culture that he was associated with that allowed him to say nigga as freely as he wanted to. Like that was his situation. That's his upbringing. But his awareness about the culture that he was participating in, man, all he was doing, Fat Joe runs around in blackface all day making money and then has a problem with black people. And I got a problem with Fat Joe. And for me to say that, I think he's proud to be a Puerto Rican man. I'm proud to be a foundational Black American. That's a term that they use because, hey, the federal government didn't give us no term. We got a unique identity, and our unique identity is not since they won't call me by my name, then I ain't got no name. And so these people show up and they act like I ain't got no name. And so, so you were saying about being lost, bro.
Foundational Black American. I think there's a lot of information out there that he should know and that anybody should know about the term and where it comes from. So when you're having a political discussion, you can't align your political discussion with a personal issue you may have with Lord Jamar. I don't really know what the fuck Lord Jamar be talking about half the time. And just do understand that in the black community, not all of us are aligned on certain things.
When they said put a name on it, he said FBA. He said Foundational Black Authority. He didn't even get the name right.
Right.
He told you who he had a problem with. He said these dusty niggas. He said these dusty niggas. This person who has on blackface participating in black culture. Like every time I see a person participating, like if I go sing country music, it's a big deal. When Beyonce wanted to participate in country music, it was a big deal. Like he was like, hold on, you're known as a pop artist,
right?
Or R&B artist. They put you in so entertainment is just like sports. On a football team, the quarterback gets paid the most money. That's the pecking order. The pecking order is white folks.
Right.
Taylor Swift is finna get paid the most money. Eminem is finna get the big piece of chicken. Beyonce don't get the big piece of chicken.
So let's just go ahead and say it. Do Latinos that are Afro-Latinos or those that are aligned with some African heritage, do they consider themselves the same as the Black Americans that's here?
So when they talk about colonization is real. And so these people can live in Caribbean islands. They can be in Cuba and have dark skin and say that they're white because they won't identify with white. Like a person like a Sammy Sosa type of individual. Colorism is a real thing. People really put bleaching skin. Like people really aspire to be white. And so when I sit here and I hold tight to my identity based on the location that I was raised at,
right?
Where you live, product of my environment, that shit matters.
Right.
Born in America, raised in America, my cultural influences are American. I don't go back to Puerto Rico. This is mine.
Y'all got to understand something too. When we talk about the term nigga, we're talking about an American word. We're talking about a word that was used here in America as slaves transitioned into other parts of their lives here. And we had this derogatory term that we made a term of endearment, which even some black people have an issue with us doing that because they came from the civil rights era. So when you're using that term, it's because of who you were raised around in hip hop culture and shit like that. Y'all don't really have a real association with the word. That's why somebody from Mississippi come to Houston, they don't want to hear nobody Mexican say nigga. They don't want to hear that.
Antoine Fisher.
Yeah.
And the big mama, she could call them all by a different tonality of nigga.
Right.
Okay, these niggas is saying nigga, but when they say nigga, they really mean it as a slight. It's no hard ER at the end. But when you say nigga loosely and you don't like nigga, when you say it with disdain, like if I see you with I'm happy, I'm saying that's my nigga.
Right.
And if I see you and I'm mad at you and across the way, a motherfucking nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think in general, man, they be saying nigga and they have a disdain for black folks. But I mean, it's cool. We didn't allow it to be cool. You see a group of people, bro, I'll never forget. I said Antoine Fisher when I was in the Navy. These two guys, they came, they looked very black. I thought they was like me because in my division there was no black folks. And I also happened to see two more brothers, right? And so I go up to dap them up and I say, "What's up, my nigga?" That nigga was like, "I am not your nigga." I said, "You're not my nigga." He was like, "I am from the PI. It's from the Philippines, right?" And so over a little bit of time, once he got some American culture, I heard him saying nigga. And I said, "Hold up, I thought you didn't say nigga." He said, "White nigga, black nigga, Mexican nigga, nigga, huh?"
Yeah.
And I think nigga has become an American word.
Right.
And because I'm an American, I'm like, hell yeah, you can participate in my culture, but it's weird to participate in my culture and hate me, huh?
Right.
If I walk into your kitchen and I'm disrespecting your culture, like if I walk into a Mexican's house and I'm sitting there talking about, man, these wetbacks, I can't stand these wetbacks. I'm so glad that Donald Trump is the president because we finna send these wetbacks home.
Right.
And they sitting there like, hey, dog, like my grandma came across the border.
I think we overusing the term racism too, man. Yeah, I didn't mess the term up. Don't even want to fucking say it no more. Don't really know how to even apply it because everything, like when he said black racist, like, man, how is that possible? What are you talking about? Well, black racist what? Like, or when we say racism, are we talking about the feeling or what we do politically, economically? Like, I think y'all, everybody, even black people are overusing the term racism and understanding what it really is.
We be having, like, you can't have high level political theory with people who don't even understand the high level political theory. When people start talking to me about gender studies and stuff like this, I'm like, what are you talking about? I operate in the physical world where I see men and women.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Right.
And so when you start talking about about how we can impact systems, this Mexican don't know nothing except for he met a black man who didn't like him and said, "Get your little Mexican ass on, you damn Mexican." Right. And he was like, "Man, that black man called me a Mexican and he didn't like me, and that black man was racist."
Right. Right.
A white boy sit there and be like, I say, "Man, shut your white ass up." You like, "You don't like me because I'm white, you're racist."
Right. Cook. Come on, man. Let's cook.
So like, I'm not misusing the word. They just want to be me so badly.
Right.
If they can marginalize and neutralize my lived experience, like from me being a descendant of American slave, they'd be like, "Man, slavery wasn't that bad. It was like a job." I'm like, "Then you be a slave then. Bring me my tea."
Hey, man, I'm sure y'all heard this old adage. I think that's how you refer to it as, you don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. We need to know our history. What's wrong with us knowing our history and understanding how we want to move forward? It's like y'all have a problem with that. Everybody now is critiquing how we talk about our history. Everybody is saying, "Oh, like me talking about slavery pisses you off as if it didn't happen. We know it did." Us talking about segregation as something that happened and y'all have an issue with it.
But why should anybody care? I hear you. I care because I'm a black man just like you.
Right.
Okay. Hey, no one cares about how the beat was made. They want to hear a hit. They don't want to care how the food was cooked. And so I have to have the political, social awareness on how to manipulate these people the way they went and created studios and they made Hollywood.
Right.
I got to create studios to disseminate information so that I can show you who I am.
Right.
Huh? I got to add so much value to America that they be, man, I'm glad that you're an American.
Hey, I'm going to tell you something. It's our fault too. I'm just going to, hey, black people, it's our fault. Why? Because we have allowed it. We haven't recognized where we need to go. In any dynamic of this conversation, in our existence in this environment, we have allowed this shit. Everywhere where there's some fuckery going on, you best believe it's some black people sitting around and allowing the speech that happened that way.
I applaud Tariq Nasheed and FBA. I applaud the effort to acknowledge us, huh? Everyone else has a group of people. We are a specific group of people.
Right.
I applaud Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore for them to come up with ADOS, American Descendants of Slaves. I applaud these efforts. I exist. My ancestors exist. We started right here. We are Native Americans. We are the native black of this land. And since no one knows how to describe us, because if the federal government, if the United States of America is to acknowledge who I am, then they gotta pay me. And now every person like Fat Joe, Takashi 6ix9ine, they take our black culture, they profit off our black culture, and they still hate me.
Right.
And then when I say reparations, they be like, you don't need no reparations. I'm like, nigga, the fact that I exist is what made you a millionaire.
Well, now the reparations conversation is changing. The reparations conversation is talking about indigenous people. You have indigenous people saying now too that they deserve some form of reparations as well. Here's my argument with that though.
For you to even say that gives that shit life.
That's true.
I take the life out of that shit. Ain't nobody fighting for me. Everybody wants to participate in my culture, make money off of my culture. When I say, hey, nigga, fuck you, pay me,
that's true.
Now it's a problem.
Reason why I'm mentioning that though is because we need to stop making it out to be a joke. We do need to care about us getting it, but I'm just saying that conversation is out there now too. So it's almost like, and I'm not saying that this man doesn't have a point, but I know where the reparations conversation started. I know where this woke, not the ideology that they're pushing politically, where we started saying woke. Just do y'all know what woke mean? Woke mean being conscious. I'm just talking about
trying
things.
to teach these motherfuckers.
Right.
Nobody cares. Like once the word changes in culture, the word has been changed. Woke means 3 gay women screaming Black Lives Matter. That's what woke means. They got it. When I think Black Lives Matter means something very powerful. Right now, Black Lives Matter mean 3 gay women who co-opted my identity. They made millions of dollars off the backs of dead black men.
But this would need to be on the airways is what I'm talking about is I ain't really, look, whether you pick up on what the fuck I'm talking about, it don't matter. I'm saying that this is what this shit really was, and we allowed that shit to slip away and supported it at the same time. When we started supporting this I don't want to go back to politics. Well, we got to go back to politics because it's all there. When we support this Democratic Party and we got parented all this blackness on us to, like, look at what we allowed them to do to blackness. Look at what we allowed them to have represent blackness. Motherfucking Kamala Harris and damn Obama. Like, look at that. Look at the other shit we allowed them to represent. Criminals that's getting killed by the police. We're making that the martyrs. We have allowed the narrative to be told about us, and we are not telling the narrative ourselves, and having that cultural appreciation for just people here. So we have an FBA for a reason, because we know a Puerto Rican don't understand what the fuck I'm going through. This Dominican don't know what the fuck. Yeah, you got here and they just see the you and they call you a nigga, but you don't really understand the real alignment of the lineage where I've been with this shit.
You got to tell the story. Like, you have to tell the story. You're the media. You tell them you tell them the story that you want them to have. If there's good things happening, you tell them about good things. We are the artists. We got to create the art that we need the people to see. We're having political and social dialogue on the open airways and everyone's listening. How in the world can you practice tactics like Sun Tzu and the art of war when everyone's listening? We do have physical spaces, but right now the fastest way to get any idea out is to be the coolest black niggas in the world. What's the coolest black niggas in the world? To understand who we are. My great-great-grandfather was a free slave, and somehow he was able to earn some land, and from that land we got how many acres up there in Texas, right? At the time when they were still lynching niggas, we owned property. And so we had to fight and die for our things. My possessions, man, they lived in a time that I can only imagine. My father lived at a time when they were still lynching people. And so when people immigrate over here and they just ignore the fact that my father and my grandfather and my great-grandfather put their blood in this ground for them to be here, they want to tell me about the immigrant story.
Right.
Nigga, you ran away from your problems. I fought for mine. That's a different conversation. We're not the same, nigga. You come over here because it's better here, because we made it better here.
Right.
But they won't have that conversation. Why won't you have that conversation, Fat Joe? You proud to be a Puerto Rican? Then take your ass to Puerto Rico, nigga. I'm proud to be a motherfucking Black American.
A foundational Black American, because it is a difference. Okay, I'll say what you just said. It's not always slavery, but if you were here during the times of where your people settled here, and they are descendants of slaves, at some point, because at different periods you may have not been, but you have to be a descendant of the people that were here, that were forced to live here, that had no choice but to make it right, that went to everything civil rights. That's something that Black people die for.
The reason why I laugh when I said a Black American, because anybody else who came here, you're not no fucking Black American. You're a goddamn Nigerian. You're a motherfucking Haitian.
Right.
You're a Puerto Rican. You're a Guyanese motherfucker. Whatever you is, that's what you are. Huh? but it's power into looking like me. It's power into assimilating like me. Because if they don't, then there are others, and they got to like explain their lineage. They got to explain their heritage and how they got here and why they are here.
I think Paul Mooney said it best. He said, "Everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga."
And don't nobody want to be a nigga, bro. Look, I watched it. Like we're approaching that wonderful age where we become millionaires, But all of our friends are from high school, college. All these individuals, once they became an adult and had families, they went back to being white. They went back to being Mexican. They went back to being Asian. They went back to being Indian, huh? They stopped listening to many men, and they go back to listen to whatever Tejano music, whatever country music, whatever bluegrass music they was raised on.
Right. Nah, that's true.
And I'm still a nigga.
Again, it's the how closely can you align with whiteness? And I think that's the whole differentiating that, oh, I'm not that black, I'm from here, or I'm from there.
So when you say that word, right? Like they actually have it on their birth certificate to say white. Mexicans it says white on their birth certificate. So when they aspired for whiteness, it wasn't an idea or a concept. Man, they went and said, hey, pass the law. We're not niggas. We are white.
Right.
And so whiteness, it's a legal documentation. It's a legal classification.
That's why, again, I don't like when I hear other people talking about our shit and why we shouldn't have it.
And so, Fat Joe, if your birth certificate says white nigga, then maybe you shouldn't say nigga, huh? Quite possibly.
You think his birth certificate say white?
Absolutely, positively. What else it gonna say? Puerto Rican?
Hey, it's like this. I know people that have used to say nigga that don't say nigga no more because they feel like it's derogatory, and they wasn't black, but they used to say nigga and it was cool. So if they can have that understanding and sensitivity, so can you. But to your point, nobody gives a fuck. But I'm just breaking it down to, hey man, you really out of pocket with that. You totally out of pocket with even having that conversation, and not understanding that, hey, why is this an issue for me to say nigga? Why shouldn't I be saying that?
I don't even care about him saying nigga. It was the thing when he said these foundational black authority dirty niggas. He said that shit with hate. He looked at a group of people fighting for their identity and called them some dirty niggas.
But I'm not talking about you. Actually, let me put this in context. I think Lord Jamar, if I'm not mistaken, I'll go back and check this out, but he may have referenced at time too, like if you're not black, a FBA, then you're not entitled to certain things, or you shouldn't be saying nigga. That's his issue.
He's mad about a movie that I haven't seen. They made a movie, Tariq Nasheed, I believe, made a movie that was specifically talking about hip hop and the origins of hip hop. And in this documentary, he's saying, hey, the origins of hip hop is black. And he's sitting there talking about, well, my cousin, brother, sister carried some crates for this MC, and so hip hop is
that's it.
Hey, man, because like it's so funny. They want to live around niggas, don't want to be niggas. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they get a dollar, they move away and act like it's uncomfortable because they won't tell the truth. But when they get a candid moment like he did, them dirty black niggas, not the good niggas, not the niggas who can let me say nigga to their face. Nah, them dirty ones, them FBA niggas, them ADOS niggas, them proud to be Black American niggas, them black nationalists, huh?
Hey, let's be honest though. In terms of the hip hop that he's talking about, it is some Caribbean shit. It's a dude from Jamaica. Because even this is what Tariq is saying, that the real roots of soul music, the shit that makes hip hop operable, those are the things. Look, when you think about music, right? In New Orleans, where it came from, all the popular music is born and birthed out of jazz. That's where you get all this shit. So he's talking about from a historical context.
No, we're talking about hip hop.
That nigga talking about that bullshit they was doing in New York. Like, oh, we up in the Bronx and all these other fucking. I ain't trying to shit on New York.
Rap music, bro.
I fuck with New York. I fuck with the hill. I'm just saying, like, y'all know how I feel about fucking hip hop culture and how it's debauchery. So I'm gonna say that bullshit that's up there that it transformed into today. They grew up together. They was in them hoods. They was in them ghettos, in them projects, living with niggas, learning how to say nigga, rap and dance and do all
I remember
that shit.
Mexicans before the fades. Okay, I remember Mexicans when they used to wear the flannels and they had the hair slicked back with the hair nets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I remember Mexicans when they were Mexicans before they assimilated into black culture and started to participate in rap music. I remember them when they were still Tejanos, them first generation joints. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Where they were lost and having no identity. And so since they were in proximity to me, they just became me. And all these niggas had bald fades and started talking about niggas. I saw the transition. I watched it with my own eyes in my lifetime, bro. So this shit that Fat Joe's talking about, I'm like, hey, Joey, crack, you made money off pretending to be black, and now it's like your identity. And then when you get exposed for saying these dirty black niggas, bro, I'm like, hey, man, take your ass back to Puerto Rico, huh? Go ask Tony Hinchcliffe about the joke about this island, huh?
And we not having the racial makeup conversation.
We
not saying that, okay, because we understand that there were slaves in Puerto Rico. We understand that's why y'all look the way y'all look. We understand phenotypically, yes, y'all are melanated people, yes, you resemble us in that regard.
Why you trying to put some damn salve on it or something? Why you trying to make nice?
No, I'm not making nice at all. Because you know what? I think a lot of times it's important to have that part of the conversation too. Because, hey, we have these silly ass fucking race conversations because that shit's been imposed on us. White people grouped us all together and said y'all all niggas. Now we up here trying to differentiate what type of niggas we is. That is the case. That's why we up here having the conversation. So we do have to.
You think that's the conversation that we're having?
I don't think that's the conversation we're having. When I say we, I think as the public. When I say we, I'm talking about society. That's why it's hard for them to understand, or even just like, you know, them being a part of hip hop. How did they even get that alignment?
If these people didn't hate black people so much, it would be very simple for them to understand about birthplace and country of origin. Like, this isn't no hard conversation for the black man to say that I was born here.
Right.
This is mine. It ain't like, well, you was a slave. Okay, nigga, I'm still here. This is still mine.
Right.
So if you acknowledge the fact that I was a slave and then I was here, then that's the conversation we should be having. But won't no other group of people talk about reparations? Why? Why? Because they don't give a fuck, man. Every group of people, this is politics. They're fighting for resources, and them advocating for me don't give them no resources. And so what I'm saying, they expect me to say nice things about Puerto Ricans and all other types of immigrants.
Right.
Hey, congratulations and welcome to America. We got work to do. We got business to take care of.
Right.
And I need you to get out of my business.
Right.
Fat Joe, nigga, I'm cooking in the kitchen, motherfucker. I ain't asked you about no goddamn empanadas, nigga.
But I want to shift. Can I shift?
What's
up?
And
talk about us? Cause honestly, I'm gonna just be honest. I don't really give a fuck about what no rapper talking about. If I'm being honest, and I said this earlier, I don't give a fuck about what no entertainer is talking about. He ain't moving no way with the motherfucking political process at all. We done already seen all these rappers and debauchery filled ass people get up and try to get an election to us. It don't fucking matter. So at the end of the day, man, whatever. And I'm not trying to disrespect that podcast. I'm not even trying to disrespect no rapper. And I'm preferencing it to just stand on business and say, man, I don't give a fuck about what these rappers be having to say unless they really got something intelligent to speak of. So at the end of the day, whatever he had going on, or the whole talk about hip hop, what the fuck I think hip hop has done to our community today, a bunch of fucking bullshit is what it's done. I don't mean to go on a rant, but it's done some fucked up shit. So y'all trying to beef over that shit? No, but the roots of American black music came from black people.
That matters a whole lot. But the things that Fat Joe, his platform is really big, his voice is really big. And right now, the Donald Trump wave, this whole push against woke culture, the way that they put it, hey, I'm not woke, motherfucker. I'm a black American.
Right.
It's a very specific thing.
Right.
I'm fighting for place of origin, birth rights. I'm fighting for citizenship, full citizenship. I'm fighting for economic citizenship in America. I'm asking for the ability to participate in this economics that we call the American capitalism system. This is what I'm talking about. And so when I'm talking about my birthright, I'm not talking about the color of my skin. There are white people who have just as much goddamn black blood in them as me. They look very different.
Right.
Because the American story is damn complicated, it's convoluted. There's a lot of taking coochie. There's a lot of incest. There's a lot of lies. There's a lot of people. There's a white man who had a black baby, and the black baby came out white, and then the white baby passed off as a white person, got grown, had a baby, and they had a little black baby.
Right.
Then a white husband looked at her and said, "Where the hell did the black baby come from? You was cheating on me." And then he went to work on her, and then she's like, "No, I'm black." And then he divorced her and left her with a little black ass baby. Like the story of America is a complicated story. When you was just taking us to the regions, all the way from Louisiana. Every region has their own origin story.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's very true. So yeah, nah, we gotta separate from that. Listen, fuck that woke shit the way they talking about it anyway. Y'all can have it, fine. But we are not gonna align with movements that have nothing to do with us. So when y'all say woke and the gender movement and making the trans movement and making the LGBT thing, no, that is not what we're talking about. What we're talking about and having is a different conversation, and it's always been a different conversation. And when we talk about civil rights, we are specifically talking about what we got. Now, if that man ain't learned that he don't need to be discriminating against other people, that's not our business.
Respectfully, I'm talking about the 10 million man march. Like the civil rights movement, that was paid for and funded by lawyers that don't look like me or represent me. They represent their interests. There's always a financial incentive to participate in black culture. And so when we talk about somebody has to do something, bro, we are men in America. We are free men in America. They looking at us like, nigga, do something. So like, first and foremost, media is the most powerful tool that you can have.
Right.
All right. The way we had the American Revolution was a man who wrote the pamphlet Common Sense. I can't his name. Damn. Thomas Paine. He wrote Common Sense. Okay. This thing sold at the time. You know, Bibles are always the best-selling thing document in history, since things that can be produced. But Common Sense in that year, the 2 years that it was produced, it was the best-selling thing out. And through this media being disseminated, they created the conversation to create the American Revolution, because it was like, man, we should be free. And so it starts with the creators looking at our system and saying, hold on, man, we done participated in this economic and social system, and people have made trillions of dollars off my existence. But the nation and the people who use me won't say my name. And then I can't even say my name because I don't know my name. And so niggas like Tariq Nasheed say FBA, people like Yvette Carnell, they say American descendants of slaves. And me, I say the 10 million man march, because like you can fight for all this ethnicity and all these other things, but I know I gotta have power. I need power to get the thing that I want.
Right.
And so right now, even if they gave me reparations, they're just gonna put it on child support.
Hey, facts.
And so when I look at our culture and our society, I'm like, bro, they done took my most prized and precious possession, my child, who's supposed to be inherit my land, and turn that person into a debt upon me.
Right.
So I can't build no wealth, I can't grow no family, I can't fall in love because I got debt following me.
Right.
Also, the state could make some money.
Facts.
And so, like, how does this pertain to Fat Joe? Like you said, man, fuck Fat Joe.
Hey, okay, so when we talk about galvanizing men and bringing men together, we're talking about men of all races, as long as you're American. What are we talking about?
So I had to pivot. Like, the civil rights movement, it happened, it was powerful. Huey P. Newton, all these people, the Black Panthers, all these organizations, they were powerful. Even Black Lives Matter, it shed a light of people wanting to participate in the black culture, but it also shed a light that with great power comes great responsibility. When you ain't never had no power, when you ain't never had millions of people listening to your word, the same way we're having this conversation, trying to figure shit out in real time, and bullets is flying, you're like, what the fuck, huh? Like, I've been in shootouts, yes. It's very different when them bullets is flinging and you hearing them hoes pierce the metal of the vehicle. You like, damn. Now you got a decision. You can sit there in your own piss, or you can bust back. And I think, through media, as we have this conversation and building organizations, like you said, the Democratic Party, I'm like, what's that? That ain't nothing but it's just an institution, right? It ain't nothing but a thought. Man, organization is the most powerful thing. Communication is number one, the most powerful thing. And then once you start organizing people under the idea of what is actually power, and men are still powerful in America.
Right.
While they have taken us for granted, yeah. I think that the conversation we're having, this is Martin Luther King, this is Malcolm X fulfilled, this is Fred Hampton fulfilled, because I'm no longer fighting to be a black man. I'm fighting to be a whole man. Be a whole man in America. My children need to be an asset and not a liability. That's insanity. Women talking about goddamn reproductive rights, and they got a ball and chain on my dick.
Yeah. I mean, that conversation is definitely important. I understand that. Like, it just aligns with what I said as far as what black people need to tend to is their families. And a part of your family is that man. You have to have a strong man in that household. We have to lift men up. And you know, you go
we
ahead.
need to talk to each other, bro. How in the hell can you have a family when child support is hanging over your head? If you do not follow this woman's instruction, then she'll destroy your life. Like I can't sit here and suck pussy all day. Oh, baby, I'll be good. I'm not Travis Hunter, homie. So like, if you tell a man to have
That's
a family,
not what I'm saying.
if you tell a man to have a family, you gotta tell him how to do it. And I see a whole lot of men right now. The only way they having a family is to tuck their dick and sit in the goddamn man cave while they woman say whatever.
Yeah, nah, you're right. But that's the point I'm getting to is when I'm talking about lifting men up is a self-sufficient man, a well-educated man. We're talking about processes. We're talking about these people being fulfilled. It's got to be, okay, you're talking about, let me back it up. When you talk about the revolution, a book was written. An ideology comes about. It takes time. As you galvanize people. I'm not saying it has to take a long time, but you have to, there's a process that we have to go about. So when we talk about lifting up a man, it's a process we got to go through. Now, there are laws that need to be made.
When you say family, I'm saying
Yeah.
Telling a young man right now
I'm
how to
walking
have
you
a
to
family.
it. It's like at the end of the day, man, look, man, get to the paper. I got a personal story to tell. I was driving Uber, picked up a brother that was a felon. You know, I don't want to say it like that. He was telling the story. He was just talking about what he went through, and he got a job. But as soon as he got out of prison for 2 weeks, he got with this chick and automatically started living with this chick, taking his money and paying her bills. I told his brother this in short. I said, "Hey man, you know, he told me everything about himself. It was cool." I said, "Listen, take care of yourself. Build upon get your finances in order."
Now,
go ahead.
He say he's a felon, right?
Right.
Now, depending on what the felony is, he can't get no apartment. It's 10 years to get a lease if he's a violent felon, right? If he's just a regular felon, it's probably 5 to 7 years depending on the place. And then on top of that, they want extra money just to move in.
Right.
And so his name and his credit ain't good enough to get no place. And so a lot of men, because when you want to talk about the plight of the man, a lot of men is throwing that dangling just to have a place to stay, huh?
Right.
They homosexuals, you know what I'm saying? Just for a place to live and something to eat, they slinging that dick. We not, hey, this is a real.
So we unifying over that too. Then we saying that hey, if you're a free citizen, you should be able to have a place to live. You should at least be able to have a place to live. We talking about that. Good. That's what I'm saying. Like we have to make it to where men can do it, where men can go. Listen, man, it's a problem when your woman's making more money than you, not because of him, because of her. When we leverage it this way, and men don't have the, you know, they are bound, like you said, they're ball and chain. You're gonna get a fucked up society, and that's what's happening right now. So when I say, yeah, the family, I got to be able to govern that shit. It has to tilt this way. And the only way it's going to do that, man, is if we be able to get out here and get some bread.
I don't disagree with you. But
so what you said is kids, like if I can't, okay, I got to go fuck with this hood rat just because that she can be in a place and I'm paying her bills and she on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Versus being able to take care of myself and come up, then I can take care of my child. I can do what I need to do. I can govern whatever, or just govern myself. And it's like you can't. Hey, bro, I'm with you, man. Child support puts you in debt. You know, you go work a job. Let's say you go work the job. You could do overtime, man. You gotta work overtime just to make a decent wage to take care of yourself. And guess what? When the kids come with you, guess what you gotta do? You gotta buy groceries for them. You gotta take care of them. If you're a father, active father. So man, the game is just fucked up. Nobody's talked about this shit. We live it. I understand how fucked up. So yeah, we got to start with legislation first off. And that go for all. We got to say all men. We can't just say black men. Because guess what? They're going to be like, all men need this shit. But that helps us as black men. So we can say, hey, that weight is off of us. That weight is off of us. I can go get some shit.
Legislation only happens when you show them actual power. Like every time they look at the civil rights movement, they always talk about, you know what I'm saying, like the marches. But what was really powerful is when they had the bus boycott. When they had the bus boycott, it affected the money. When you affect their pockets and everything changes, right?
Right.
And so when we talk about a group economics, we talk about men. Men are being used as America's work mule, and we're funding their retirement systems, we're funding their court systems because every time somebody gets mad, it's because I'm a man,
right?
And so through feminism, through egalitarianism,
right.
Hey, it's supposed to be competition. We're all supposed to be competing.
Right.
And so if she has a step up, there's been so much media saying, go girl, you is queen, you can do it, you can do it. And then when she gets tired of competing, all she got to do is jump on some meat.
Right.
Game over. All of a sudden, the person that she falls in love with the person that was competing against me.
That's why we got to make it cool again to have not only have this conversation, talk about legislation, go at blue collar jobs. You know what I'm saying? Make that shit cool again. All the, improve unions. Like the man conversation has left the building. It used to be had and it's not being had anymore.
I dig. You're supposed to be an entrepreneur and work really hard, man. Be creative to make yourself something. Like when you're competing, it's competition.
Right.
Things that are cool are exclusive, man. Nigga, people like aspirational people, man. Aspirational people do aspirational things.
Right.
And the facts are most people don't aspire to do nothing. That's why they find themselves in that situation. And so at times when you have a lull, when there is no testosterone driving the culture, men supposed to like, hey, we gotta, niggas supposed to grab each other. Say, hey, dog, we got shit to do.
Right.
I put the Cheetos down, put the phone down, put the dick down. We got shit to do, bro. They got the most bestest technology in the whole entire world. Niggas watching 4K titties. And so I'm just like, hey, you gotta activate. Regulators, mount up.
Hey man, yes, agreed. I'm glad we had this conversation because I see it. I've been saying geopolitically, dog, we gonna get lost if we don't wake up and understand what we have to do for our people, but especially men. The racism conversation will be gone, and now it will be the gender conversation, that which is already here. It's going to be worse.
I mean, if we had for real political and economic power, if black men knew and understood who they were, Fat Joe wouldn't have felt comfortable saying that. Joey Crack would have got cracked. Hey, but at some point in time, they broke bread, and he probably took Math Hoffa on tour, put some money in Math Hoffa's pocket, or somehow, some way. And so he got to be a good nigga and play politics because he got paid. Prostitution at its best is when niggas buy niggas, huh? Niggas selling ass on the open market.
The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive. The greatest American alive.